Hi guys, in today's lesson I'm going to show you how to write a P paragraph. So what I'll do in this video is I'll introduce you to the P paragraph structure, and then I'll also guide you through a sample answer which I've included in the downloads as well. So I'll try and explain my own reasoning and kind of guide you step by step as I'm going through the process that you guys can use as well. This video will teach you the basics of language analysis. PEE is a good place to start, but with all formulas or patterns, it's just a guide to get you started and get you moving on into GCSE or level 2 functional skills. As you develop and your skills improve, you might move on to using a different variety of this, such as a piece paragraph or a peel paragraph, which is what I tend to use for my students when we're trying to move them towards like an A or a B in the GCSE English language. A lot of people, when they do progress past this, they don't use a formula whatsoever, but it's just a good place to start when you're first approaching language analysis. So the first one is point. So point is the shortest paragraph, and it just addresses the question. So it starts with something like the writer has, and you're just talking about what the writer has done. So this should be a short, focused response that simply states what the writer has done before you go into more detail. Okay, so it should only be about a sentence. Next, we have the evidence. So this is where you provide a quote from the text. So quotes have speech marks around them to show that you've taken them from another source and not directly written by you. And if you remember in school, the 66 and 99, these are just what I mean by speech marks. Quotes tend to be small. The smaller the quote, the greater the skill of language analysis you show. And we'll go into this more when we move on to our final element of the P paragraph. So the final section, this is the most important one, is the explanation. So in this section, you'll explain the effects of the language used. So how does it make the reader feel is the most popular response you're going to be writing about. You look at what words and techniques create these feelings, and the more in depth you can explain how the writer has made someone feel and why, the greater the analysis will be. And you can use phrases such as, this suggests and this shows, just to talk about the effects of that language. So we're trying to kind of narrow down our focus onto the effects of this language. When you're doing level 2 functional skills, don't worry about that so much. We're just looking for a general response. But for GCSE, the further you can go into that explanation, the higher your marks will generally be. Here's a sample question, and this is something I've taken. It's one of my examples from GCSE. So how has the writer used language to describe Billy? Billy stomped about, his face as red as a smashed tomato. Now I want you to imagine that you've pulled this quote out of a longer text, and we're just going to kind of break it down and put it into our P paragraph answer. So here's our answer, and I've labelled it into different colours. So it says the writer has shown Billy to be an aggressive character, using a simile, his face as red as a smashed tomato. So I've briefly mentioned what the writer is trying to do, and I've included the quotes, but this green bit here is where we get our marks. This is what we call the language analysis. So this shows the reader how red Billy's face is to show how extreme his tantrum is. The reader can imagine his face, and the word red represents anger. So yeah, my interpretation is going to be very different from yours, and I could have of course went into more detail, but this is just a good basic place to start. If you are looking to kind of go a little bit further, look at my video on a piece paragraph where we look at things like context and we zoom in on the words. But for now, this is quite good. Finally, thanks for watching. If you want to take your language analysis further, be sure to have a look at the piece paragraph video and just try and look at Write On resources. I've got some fantastic resources for both GCSE English language and for English literature as well. Okay guys, thanks a lot, bye.